Hello, welcome back to Chapter 6, Section 2, Solving Systems of Linear Equations by Substitution. So we talked about this before. The math that we do, a lot of the math that we do just to learn the math. That is true. Math is its own knowledge. But math actually represents something in other areas. So this is going to be an economics problem. We're using algebra to study the relationship between two things that we can measure. The two things we're going to measure in this example will be time and money. And how much you pay depends on how much time that you're going to have this product. Now, of course, the book is kind of old, so these fees may be laughable right now, all right? I don't think anything is this cheap anymore, but you can substitute this with your own numbers. So here's what we got. We got a high-speed internet provider, think Quest or Comcast or something like that. They have a $50 setup fee. Yeah, right. And it costs $30 per month. I wish we had that. Another provider has no setup fee, but it costs more per month, $40 per month. So the first thing we need to do, let's read the problem. In how many months will both providers cost the same? So it looks like for the beginning, this one's going to charge you $50 right up front. So after 1 month, it'll be $50 plus $30, which is, sorry, I got hiccups, which is $80. That's a lot. But the second provider has the setup fee is free, but it costs more per month. So if one customer has this and another customer has this customer is eventually going to catch up to that customer. We want to find out when. All right? Now, most companies or private people are going to have their high-speed internet provider for many, many years with upgrades as they come. All right? So probably in the real world, things are like a little bit more competitive here. But like we said, we're trying to keep the problems relatively simple so we can do them in an Algebra 1 class. So yeah, I know this is kind of a joke a little bit, but when we talk about like real examples, then we need to talk about like more complicated situations. So we're going to try to keep it a little simple. All right, so the first thing is that we need to define what it is that we're talking about. The two things that we don't know, which is going to be the time in months that you have the service. So how long you have the service. And the total cost. Now, those are the two variables. The time is a variable. It's a measurement that changes. The total cost depends on the time that you provide the service. Those are the two variables. What I need is a picture or a symbol to stand for those variables. I can do two things. I can go with X and Y, and if I go with X and Y, that means that I can, sorry, it went away. That means that I can use Desmos, because Desmos knows what X and Y is. However, I'm not going to use Desmos for this one, so I can do another plan, which I can use T for time and C for cost. So I'm going to let the letter T represent the time in months that you have the service, and C represent the total cost. This is very, very important. And when we finish and we actually find out what the answer is, and I'm putting air quotes around the answer, we're not going to say T equals or C equals. We're going to say time and cost. That's really important that we actually answer the question. How many months will both providers cost the same, and what will that cost be? I'm not going to answer that by saying T equals this and C equals that. I'm going to say this many months and the cost will be this many dollars. So it's really important that we get that idea. Now, how do I write my two equations for my two companies? This one has a $50 setup fee. That's a one-time only fee. You don't have to add that over and over again. So that's $50 to start with. And it costs $30 each month. So after 1 month, I add $30. After 2 months, I add another $30. But the 50 stayed the same. After 3 months, I add another $30. So I add 30 for every month that you have this service. And repeatedly adding a number is multiplying. So that means I'm going to multiply 30 times the number of months, which is, I chose T. And if you can tell me how many months you're going to have, like 7 months, multiply 30 times 7, which means 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30. And then I'm going to add that $50 that I paid at the beginning. That's going to give me my total cost for the first company. The second company has no setup fee, so there's not going to be a number like that. It's going to be 0, and I can write 0, but I'm not going to. It costs $40 per month, so it'd be 40 plus 40 for 2 months, 40 plus 40 plus 40 for 3 months. The second company is going to be 40 multiplied by how many months that you have. So there's my two equations. I'm going to use substitution, and both of them are isolated the cost. So I can start by just doing this. 50 plus 30t equals 40t. I'm going to add negative 30t. I'm going to do my algebra now. And I get 50 equals 10t. I'm running out of room. I'll move that up so you can see it. I'm going to divide both sides by 10, and I get 5 equals t. And it's better if I actually write it like this. T equals 10. Okay, now I just solved that like an algebra problem. But that's not what it asked me to do. What this means is, how many months will both providers cost the same? 10 months. In 10 months, they're going to be the same. Right? Excuse me. I got my mistake. 5 months, because 5 equals t. I don't know where that 10 came from. Okay, let me say it again. In 5 months, the cost will be the same. I apologize for that. What will that cost be? Well, let's check it. So the cost is going to be 50 plus 30 times 5. So you paid for this service for 5 months at $30 a month. That's 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30. That's the same as 30 times 5. So that's going to be 50 plus $150, which equals $200. Now, to check it, I'm going to use the other equation, c equals 40t. All right? And 40 times 5, $40 plus $40 plus $40 plus $40 plus $40, that also equals 200. So those are the same. So now, I have to answer the question, in how many months will both providers cost the same, and what will that cost be? It's going to be in 5 months, both will cost $200. Now there's a second part here, and I wrote the question kind of in the middle of the paper because I thought I would need some space first to talk about it. And I'm actually going to go back to Desmos for just a moment to show you what's happening here. And sorry, let me clear these out. So this time you actually get to see me write Desmos. Now I have to use X and Y, so instead of C I'm going to use Y. Y equals 50 plus 30x. And for my second one, Y equals 40x. All right, now the graph, you look at, move that so you can see it. And by the way, I'm recording an iPad with an iPad. It's like iPad Inception. But that way you can, instead of me just like switching over so you can to my iPad screen, you can actually see my hand, how I'm going to use that. All right, so check this out. I'm going to change my grid here a little bit. Let's change that to -1. Move that around. Let's change that to -10, and change this one. Let's change that one to, let's say, 100. Okay, and actually that didn't help out much either. Okay, so I'm going to move this around a little bit. Notice that these two come together right here, and that's 5, my x, which is my time, equals 5 months, and my cost is $200. So by graphing, I got the same thing. And sorry, let me show you one more thing. Notice that these two lines came together. Let me change one more thing. Let's go, I don't know if this is going to be helpful. Yeah, that's okay. All right, we'll do it like this. Okay, now notice that up until this point, the purple line is below, so that's cheaper. But after this point, the green line becomes cheaper. So what happens, showing the paper, so the lines actually look like this. One of them does this, and the other one does this. This is the y equals, gotta remember what it was, 40x, which again, I use c and t, so y equals 40t. Same idea, right? And this one is on Desmos, y equals 50 plus 30x, and in the real, and what I use with the real variables, 50 plus 30t. So check this out. This right here is cheaper from here to here, but then they are the same, and now this line is cheaper, so it switches. So if I can figure out where they're the same and decide if I'm only going to have the service up until that point, I know which one's cheaper. But if I'm going to have it after that point, the other one is cheaper. So now the question says, if you plan to cancel in 1 year, which is the cheaper provider? Well, again, this was at 5 months. So it looks like this right here is going to be cheaper. Let's try it with both of them. So C equals 40, and don't use 1 because I'm measuring in months. There are 12 months in a year, times 12. That's going to be $480 to have that for the entire year. The other one, which starts out more expensive, this is going to be 50 plus 30 times 12, which is 360. Let's see, what did I do wrong? I did something wrong. 40 times 12. 3 times 12. Oh, sorry. I'm doing this in my head, and I did it wrong in my head, which you can't see. 50 plus 460 is 410. So this one is going to be cheaper. All right. We'll see you in the guided practice problems.